Hi, everybody. It's Ken Varga again. Listen, we're going to have one heck of a webinar right now. One of the things that I've seen happening over the last year was LinkedIn making so many changes that to me are not enhancements, but unfortunately they think it is. And they think if you do something that it makes it worthwhile when it doesn't. But a lot of you were emailing me back about how do you handle the connections when they come in, and because LinkedIn has totally changed that. And so this is what I'm going to go over today with you. But I want you to hold your questions at the end, because we'll answer all the questions at the end. And I'd like you to have a pad and pen handy so that you could take notes. Now, I just want to mention, all of you will be receiving a link where you could watch this webinar in your leisure, when you could pause at certain areas, like messages that I'm going to show you, where you could pause and then write them down. So don't feel in a rush where you got to start writing them all down here. It'll be worth your while, by the way, to stay on the call until the end, because at the end I'm going to go over something that a lot of you have asked me to do, and it's going to be an idea to share, where I'll show you how to double your business within a year, within the next 12 months. But anyway, as we go along, again, write down your questions, because we'll answer them at the end. All right, so on this webinar, I'm going to go over how to handle your LinkedIn connection request to make a sale. This is where somebody has requested you to join their, to accept them to join your organization, and/or you're doing the connection messages, which was in the last webinar that I showed you how to do a couple of months ago. So anyway, here's a bio of myself. I'm going to have John Davern get on in a few minutes, because a little bit later, because I feel that you should consider having a virtual assistant doing a lot of this stuff for you. But when you get the link, just pause it for a moment if you want to look at our bios. All right, so I'm going to go over how to increase sales from your LinkedIn connections. And the reason is that over the past year, you've all seen several new features in LinkedIn evolving in exciting ways, but also a lot of confusing ways. The updates are really designed to help people find a job, attract business clients, customers, or just network. Today, I'm going to try to teach you how to work around the new LinkedIn design and handle your LinkedIn connections to make a sale. Now, why do we use LinkedIn extensively? Because we found that LinkedIn was 277% more effective for lead generation than Facebook and Twitter. I mean, that's a remarkable thing. That really, really is. But a couple of months ago, as I said, I did a webinar showing you how to get connection requests. If you want to see it again, here's the link. But you also got an email from us for the link. So you could either click here, or you could just copy and paste it, or when you get the link, to review the webinar in your leisure, you could pause it right here and then copy it and then paste it. But the following are the new ways that you can utilize to increase your conversions from your LinkedIn connections. I'm going to show you how to work your way around the recent LinkedIn changes. And the idea is to make your experience on the site more powerful and user-friendly, because I've heard from a lot of you how frustrated you get. So there's 3 steps to work your connection request on LinkedIn: where to find the people who connected with you, where to find people who sent requests to you to connect, and how to follow up with people who accepted your requests. So we're going to go over those 3 steps. So the first one is finding people who connected with you. Before all the changes were made, LinkedIn used to send you a message saying John Jones, Elena requested to connect, etc. But now what you have to do every day is, you want to do the connection messages, but every day you also want to go into the home page and you click on My Network, where I've circled it right now. Then what you do is you go to the far right and you see the ones who accepted your information, your invitation to connect. You click on see all, and now it's going to show you a whole bunch of people. And on the left-hand side, you're going to select sort by recently added. Now again, as you do this each day, you always want to write down the last name that you started with, so that tomorrow when you get to Elena, you know that's where you ended yesterday. So you won't be sending duplicate messages. So again, you want to click on the recently added drop-down arrow, and now you're going to right-click on the connections profile picture where it says name and open in a new tab. When that happens, this is what you see. And what you want to do, the whole purpose of all I'm showing you is so that you can now create the database where you can communicate with this individual on a personal basis and build that relationship over a period of time. So what you want to do is you click on show more, and now you're going to get their website, their email, their address. You go to their website and get their address, their phone numbers, etc., etc. But you want to list down their contact info, such as email and phone number. Some of people might not show their contact info. It depends on their privacy settings. So step number 7 is copy and paste their information into a spreadsheet or database. You want to try to capture their first name, last name, phone number, email address, and some optional stuff for address, company, the industry they're in, etc. And again, it's so that you can build a relationship with them by emailing them once a month in your CRM program. Now, if any of you have any questions on what CRM programs I recommend, just send me an email and I'll be glad to let you know a few of them. Or you could just Google CRM and you'll get a list of them right there. So the whole purpose, again, is to create this database so that you can communicate with them to build that relationship. So the next step is you want to send the connection message, which is a thank you message for connecting. So Elena was one who accepted my connection message. All right? So in the message box, you'll type in your thank you message, thanking them for connecting. All right? So here's my thank you message for connecting. This is for the individuals who have accepted my connection requests. So you'll see the first sentence that says, thanks for accepting me into your network. If there is anything I can do to help you create customers, let me know. As a new LinkedIn connection, I'll also add you to my bi-weekly blog where I share ideas on creating customers. If just one idea results in a customer, I'm sure you'll be happy. So let me know when this happens. Then I offer a copy. I tell them about my book so that they can go to the store and see if they want to purchase it. You can all click on that, everybody, and take a look at it. And I have where I'm recommending them to join my LinkedIn group. All right. And one more thing, if you haven't already, when you're doing a marketing campaign, especially offline, I have the free 121 tips book. And also now, since everybody likes referrals, I add the paragraph. I will also keep you in mind whenever I come across someone who might need your services. Now, it's important. All right? Now, at some future date, I'm going to go over how to create your own LinkedIn group. Most of you will want 2 different LinkedIn groups. You're going to want one for the customers that you're going after, sending connection requests that are already in the MLM industry, and the others are individuals who aren't in the MLM industry and are looking to become your customer. So you're going to want to try to create 2 different groups. And again, I'm going to go over in the future a webinar on how to create your own group. So this is, again, the message for thanking them for accepting your connection request. And after you type in, I copy and paste it, all right? right on the right-hand side, I click on message, I copy and paste it on the right-hand side, then I hit enter to send it. Now, the second type of a person that you're going to send messages to and build a relationship with are people who sent you requests to connect with you. This is very important because what's happening is that LinkedIn sends out messages when you post different things, where you're responding to a discussion, where you're commenting. LinkedIn now will forward this here to a few people in their algorithms that feel that there might be a good marriage. So they'll send a connection request to you. All right? So you go to your home page and you go to My Network again, and you're going to click under Invitations. You'll see the ones who sent you the connection requests, and you could choose Ignore or Connect. But you want to click on Show More to expand the list. All right? Then you want to click on Manage All to make multiple selections. So now you want to manage all. Now you click on Humor after you've accepted their invitation. Then you go to their profile, you click on Show More, and now you're going to get their contact information. So now you click and you put Humor's first name, last name, phone number, and email address if they're in there. And this is important. Now you click on the message box. And in the message box, you will then type the request to join message or copy and paste it. I always say, create your message, put it in a Word document, put it in a folder called Messages, and then when you're going to be working this, all you have to do is go into the Word document, copy it, and then you'll just paste it as you go through it. You know, you're going to do the message thanking them for connecting with you and asking them to join either your LinkedIn book group, your ebook download, or other opt-in message that you have. But here's my message, and the only thing that's different is the first sentence: thanks for asking to join my network. The other one was, thanks for accepting me into your network. All right, so that's the only thing that's different here. So again, you just copy and paste it into the message and what have you. Then you continue down the list and you repeat the process. Again, my statement to you is always put the person that you started with as the last name you ended with, so that you'll know where to end tomorrow. But now you want to follow up with people who have connected with you, which is the first and second methods I just went over. You're going to click on My Network, and you'll click on the number of connections on the left-hand side. This is just another way of doing it. Now it lists all the individuals, and you start at the top of your list of connections, and you message them either the thank you message or the request, the thank you message if you initiated the connection, or the request to join message if they initiated the connection and you accepted their connection. All right. So again, you just click on the message, the person. You can tell who initiated it by looking on the right-hand side. So if you click on message, you'll see that this was where you asked the person to connect with you. Again, work your way down the list of connections and send them the appropriate message. And again, keep track of where you left off by using a spreadsheet or scrap of paper like I do. And you want to note the name of the last person that you sent the message to, so that you know where you left off the next time, so that you don't send them a message again. You know, I put together a generic follow-up message. You know, if you want copies of this, my two messages, just send me an email at the end of this webinar to kenpbg@aol.com, and I'll be glad to send them off to you. Or you can wait until you get the link to follow up and watch the webinar in your leisure, and you can pause it at that moment and just copy it down. But I want to tell you, any of you, after you create your message, send it to me in your email, and I'll critique it for you. Again, it's important that you create your own database for email marketing. Again, you want to click on your connections profile picture, name, and open in a new tab. Click on Show More, and now all of their data is there. All right, so it's important that you do this because I don't want to stress it too much, but the whole purpose of doing this is to be able to build that relationship with the individual. I'm going to go over something with you now about my thoughts are you should hire a virtual assistant. I have had a virtual assistant for many, many years, and I'm going to have John Davern get on in a moment to show you some stuff and give you an offer I feel you can't refuse. But you're better off making sales than doing the techniques and tasks mentioned in the last few webinars I've given you, or even the future webinars I'm going to go over with you. You could have a virtual assistant do LinkedIn connection messages, meetup.com messages, which I'll do another webinar on, welcome messages, and LinkedIn endorsements, birthday, congrat messages. You want to hire a virtual assistant to do this for you. And you know, a VA spending a few hours a day could send LinkedIn connection messages, send meetup welcome messages, send LinkedIn endorsements, birthdays, congrat messages, and set up appointments for you. You know, I'm using virtual talent now for many years, as I just mentioned, but the VAs can help you grow your network by helping create and optimize your LinkedIn profile for searchability, sending your connection messages, doing all the mundane things that you do when you could be out there making sales and creating revenue. But they can search for and join LinkedIn groups containing your prospects, posting interesting articles to your LinkedIn groups and on your status, setting appointments for you, managing your calendar, creating and send out your newsletters, managing your contacts and email marketing, updating your website content, blog, managing your social media, which is great in marketing, but also the most important, increasing your website traffic and search ranking, and trust me, much, much more. VAs create prospects for you to present your product and services to. So at this moment, I'm going to ask John to step in and go over a few things with you, and also, like I said, to make this offer to you that I asked him to share with you.
Okay, thanks, Ken. It's a pleasure to be on the call with everybody today. And you know, I've just really quickly about my background. I've been exposed to virtual assistants. I originally hired my first virtual assistant back in 2006, and that was when I was working a full-time corporate job, and I wanted to get involved in real estate investing. So I hired my first virtual assistant. And the reason I was doing that is I was working a corporate job, probably 55, 60 hours a week, which left very little time for anything else. And I found that when I was trying to start my own business, there just was not enough time for it. I would attempt to post ads and find property deals online, and people would call me. I'd miss the calls because I was in meetings, and I got introduced to the idea of having a virtual assistant to do that for me, and that's what I did. Is I hired my first virtual assistant from the Philippines, and what they did for me was they did repetitive posting for Craigslist, and as people responded to my Craigslist ads, they followed up with them, they answered phone calls, and that's how I was able to do my first few real estate deals, was through hiring a virtual assistant. And after I did that, some people that saw me have success with that asked if I could help them finding a VA, and that evolved into my current business, which is virtual assistant talent, which we've been doing since 2009. Basically what I do is I help people identify what processes in their business that they can outsource to somebody else, where you can standardize the work. So like if you look today, this is a standard task in LinkedIn that is a repetitive task that you don't necessarily have to do yourself, and that maybe your time could be better spent in front of your customers or at BPO presentations where you're presenting your opportunity to others. So that's one of the things that I do, is I help business owners grow their business without them having to put all their own time into it. And I've used this strategy even when I was in the insurance and financial industry related to network marketing, one of the things I had my virtual assistant do was do repetitive postings on Craigslist, inviting people to the business opportunity presentation that we would have every Saturday. And I was able to get a number of people to join under my downline by doing the repetitive Craigslist posting. And I actually posted in Craigslist bulletin boards throughout the country at that time to get people to join my organization. We also had virtual assistant put up landing pages for us and create a website related to our network marketing opportunity as well. So there's so many different things that virtual assistants can do for you. Now this LinkedIn technique, this is a technique that I learned, Ken's been one of our clients or customers for the last 4 years or so, and this was one of the techniques that he was employing, and I learned this technique, in working with Ken, and it's consistently delivered for me for the last 3-4 years. And one of the major things about it is, just the power of that your messaging. Having the right message and how you communicate people is one of the key things that I've learned, in working with Ken, and through Ken's advice and coaching has definitely helped me to improve my conversion rate when I'm communicating with people on LinkedIn. With virtual assistants, so it's definitely LinkedIn is something that you need to be doing if you're not currently doing, and utilizing it in a way to get more clients and customers. Here's a few things that I've leveraged my virtual assistant to help me out with that you can also do. One of the first things is setting up your LinkedIn account, making sure that your profile is complete. So does it have all the information that is going to attract clients or customers or people to your organization? So does it properly indicate what business that you're in? So setting up your profile to make sure that it has your work history, what businesses you're involving, what products and services that you offer, what are the benefits, and then if there's any videos that you have out there, that it links to your videos. If there's any white papers or presentations that you've done, that those are included. If there's any speaking engagements that you've done, that those are included in your profile, so that you have an attractive profile, and that your profile comes up when people are searching for people to network and connect with. So that's something that the virtual assistant can help you do, that can save you time. The other thing is, as Ken touched on this before, is joining LinkedIn groups that are going to have either people that would be interested in purchasing your product or service, or people that would be interested in joining your business opportunity, or people who would be power partners in referring business to you, and looking and identifying for groups to join that would meet that criteria. And that's something that virtual assistants can do, is to search for these groups that would deliver that would provide the most value to you, and actually find groups that are active. So sometimes groups, they go through phases. They're active maybe in the beginning, but then they get stagnant. So the virtual assistant can consistently monitor those groups and switch you from one group to other groups if certain groups are not delivering or don't have much activity. And then sending connection messages on a daily basis. So, in part it's a numbers game, but you don't want to send too many messages because then you can get flagged by LinkedIn. But sending the right number of messages per day, so example 25 connection messages a day, so on a weekly basis 125 people, and people will then connect with you. And then as people accept the connection, or people will then send you connection messages, as Ken showed in the presentation today, sending a right response to them that's going to deliver results and get that person interested in working with you. So this is a task that virtual assistants can do, and I utilize VAs to help me with this, to monitor the responses that I have to message, and depending on what business that you have, you can either, the VA can flag you to follow up with that person, or in some cases, some clients have had the VA actually follow up directly with that interested prospect. So those are some of the tasks that you can have the virtual assistant do for you. The whole idea is as a business owner, business owners work very hard in establishing their business and building their business, building their downline, coaching people, and so forth. There was a Inc. article that was put out that said entrepreneurs work greater than 60 hours per week on average, a lot of them. And that's a lot of hard work, but it would be great if you could have that work-life balance, have more time with the family, and also be able to leverage your time and expand your time by leveraging virtual assistant resources. It can actually really transform your life and business. And if you look at this particular activity in itself, this is something that you might not have time to do, but you should be doing it because it can deliver results for you, whether it's posting on ads on Facebook or Twitter, or doing research to put a newsletter out, or doing a blog, or doing this LinkedIn task. There's different activities that you only have so much time in the day to do, but that can really add value. And imagine if you have a virtual assistant doing this activity to you, and you're coming with leads and prospects to follow up for people who are either interested in purchasing a product or service, or joining and being a part of your organization or downline. So it can really transform your life and business. So, and I know we got some questions coming in, which we'll get to shortly. The cost of a virtual assistant. So just so you know, when I look at who can benefit from a virtual assistant, there's always a question of hiring somebody to work in your office, or hiring somebody locally, or hiring somebody remotely. And one of the main, one of the things as a small business owner, or if you have a network marketing business, a lot of people are on a tight budget, especially if you're just getting started out, and just in generally speaking, just controlling costs. A virtual assistant is an affordable way that provides a pathway for people to build their team, expand their capabilities on a tight budget. And if you look at how much does a virtual assistant cost, so my company is virtualassistanttalent.com, and I've been providing virtual assistant services since 2009 to small business owners and real estate agents, real estate investors, and business owners in general. I've hired hundreds and hundreds of virtual assistants and trained them. So we've established a network of excellent, reliable VAs to really, based on whatever type of task that you may want, we have a network of VAs for that. And to give you an idea of the cost, for non-technical VAs that are admin assistants that could do social media, content research, maybe do blog writing, answering your phones, customer service, or data entry, or lead generation activities. The price point at that, we offer that at $8.20 an hour. And that's based on kind of what the market rate is for a VA with that type of skill in the Philippines. Now, I use Philippines because that's where my first virtual assistant that I hired out of, and also because in the Philippines they're taught English as part of their class or course curriculum, so they're fluent in English, so that's a huge benefit. In terms of if you're having virtual assistants from Philippines interact directly with customers, communication skills, a lot of virtual assistants have worked in a call center environment in the Philippines, and many of them are trained to have particular accents similar to their clients. So, like, let's say, for example, if they're dealing with a UK account, they have that type of accent. If they're working with a United States account, they're trained to have an American accent, as an example. So there's varying levels of communication skills, depending on what you need. So we offer packages. We can do things on a project basis, and we also do things where you can hire a VA for part-time or full-time work, and that's kind of our pricing there, starting $8.25 for non-technical VAs. For technical VAs, if you need a website designed or you need graphics work, maybe a company logo, designing a newsletter template, even programming or back-end database work, technical VAs start at $11.20 an hour. And there's web design companies that hire our VAs, for example, to do work, and they will charge their clients a much higher price. So our price point on that is at $11.20 an hour. And I can tell you, I live in Silicon Valley. I've been exposed to web designers out here charging $100 per hour for some web design work. So it's just an amazing price point, and it's in terms of the skill set that you're getting for, like, for example, an $8.20 an hour virtual assistant. That person is typically a college degree person, and in many cases they have a management or supervisory background from corporate job experience. So it's not even comparable to a $9 or $10 an hour person that you might hire in the United States. These are actually virtual assistants that have college degrees in many cases and a lot of experience. So there is a promotion for those that are on the webinar. If you are interested in hiring a VA and see the benefits of that, you can contact us, virtualassistanttalent.com, and there's a promo code SAVE50 KV to get $50 off the VA service. So that, I just wanted to spend a little time. This is based on the what I would say is the market rate for virtual assistant services out of the Philippines, and we try to find a sweet spot price point that's going to attract and retain the best talent. So being able to pay the virtual assistant appropriately so they don't just quit or job hop, but then also finding a good balance, in terms of being sensitive to people's budgets as well. So one of the, I'm going to turn it back over to Ken, but one of the things, that has made a huge difference in my business, as I mentioned, I've been doing this LinkedIn technique for about the past 4 years, and by having access to Ken's coaching and training in the past, it made a huge difference in my business. So I started out sending connection messages and communicating with people on LinkedIn, and for a while my messaging was, well, when I started out my messaging was not doing so good, but then I changed my message. So the framework of what I deliver in that message, what I say to people, and after I changed it, yes, it worked, but Ken worked with me on my message and what I say in my message, and that made a huge difference for me. It made the difference between having very few conversions to having very frequent conversions that I get to this day from doing this technique. And this is one of the techniques that has stayed with my business for the last 4 years as I've worked with Ken. But having Ken as a resource to look at that message and say, hey, here's the message that you should be delivering, has made the difference from either making or breaking that technique as far as it working or not. And that's one of the great things about having you, Ken, as a resource as a business owner to help look at what are the things I'm doing correct and incorrect, and helping to tweak and give ideas on that, based on your success. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Ken, and make you the presenter.
Okay. And John, thanks for those kind words. Really.
Hey, you're welcome, Ken. Definitely appreciate it. It's made a huge impact.
I'm glad it has. I'm glad it has. Anyway, many of you over the years have asked me to develop a training program to help you double your business over the next 12 months. If you really want to become highly successful in your industry, you have to invest in your education. And this is a critical thing for you to do. But I'm going to go over now how to build your Downline Fast training program that I created just for individuals like yourself. Many of you have told me that you're struggling to take your network marketing business to the next level, and many of you feel that you've been working harder and harder just to earn your income. You're worried about the competition, and you're disturbed that many clients are going directly from your competition and dealing over the internet, and that's things that I'll go through everybody's mind, and it's important that most of this stuff, I don't know if what I did there just now, Ooh, let's see.
Yep.
It's time to transform your life. I'm going to show you in this training program how to double your income within the next 12 months, retire and live the lifestyle of your dreams within the next 7 years, and become a part of the top 1% of all network marketers within the next 5 years. And I'm a little bit excited about this because it took me quite a while to put it together. But you're about to discover how you can use my secrets to end your worries and frustrations and to build your $1 million business or career quicker and easier than your greatest expectations. This is a little bit about the program. You'll have access to my wealth of knowledge from the years of experience and success on how to build your downline fast with this new training program and platform. And here's what you're going to get. You're going to get 42 training modules. They're going to be in PDF ebook format, and also it's converted to audio where you can listen to it at your leisure in your car and or as I do on a beach. But you're also going to get 40 hours of pre-recorded coaching calls on key topics that are pertinent to building your network marketing business. So you get 42 modules of guides, techniques, and biggest lessons that I've learned in my entire career as an insurance professional, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I've made and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But you get step-by-step modules. There's 42 of them. And here's just an example of some of the titles. The greatest sales secrets in turning quotes into sales, because a lot of you do a lot of quoting. Anyway, creating a business plan to guarantee your long-term success. The amazing system for getting referrals from customers and people you meet every day. Individuals who have shared this with have told me this is the best referral system that they've ever seen in the MLM industry. It also has another module, positioning yourself as the expert in your field, putting your network marketing business on autopilot so you can make money while you're lying on the beach, turning your existing customers into advocates who will bring in new business for you, learning about the 20% of the people that generate 80% of your income, and how to make your customers bond with you so they'll never go to your competition. On the coaching calls, these are simple tricks and techniques that I've answered one-on-one in my coaching program. Some of the topics I went over is the power of autoresponders and the magic of email. Another thing is what I recommend to do for generating leads and getting referrals. Another one, how to work with a virtual assistant to build your database. The fascinating tricks to profit from LinkedIn and meetup groups. Making an elevator speech that will get you appointments. How to create the ideal prospect and follow up with them every single month. Also, the 7 points of contact and what to do when you get a no. That's very important. Next one, how to work your way around certain LinkedIn changes and using the ADA formula as the best way to promote your website. Now, here's a sneak peek inside the training platform. The Build Your Downline Fast training program is divided into 13 sections, as you see below, with each section having a general theme and multiple modules within each section. As an example, section 1 is all about list building and how to make your database work for you. So this is the idea of the platform of how it looks. Now, once you click on the first one, let's say module 1, now you could click on, because in this section 1 you have 3 modules, you just click on the first one, and on the right hand side you could see where it says click on to download the module ebook, and also you could copy the audio recording. Now, what I suggest to everybody that invests in themselves is to create a folder on your desktop and call it Ken Varga, and then save all these modules and recordings into that folder, because you never know what happens with the internet. At least you'll have the folders there, and if you ever need to refer to them, you can. But you want to print up every single one of them, so make sure that you have enough of paper in there. The total pages in all the modules exceed, I believe, over 1,300 pages. So you'll be able to do it that way. But then what you do is in section 13, it's all about the coaching calls. You click on it and you'll see an archive of the pre-recorded coaching calls. Again, you want to download them into a folder called coaching calls, and then just listen to them in your leisure. And it's topics that have come up and questions and answers on how you can build your business fast and create more customers. Now, I've gone over with you many times in many of my blogs about the importance of testimonials. You want to always have testimonials. So what I want to do is I want you to take a moment and just read the few testimonials I'm going to be showing you now. This one happens to be from Brian Tracy. And he says in the last 10 years, he's spoken at dozens of insurance conventions, workshops, seminars, meeting hundreds of speakers and authors. But none of them have had the sex records that I have. All right? Anyway, just finish reading it, and I'll pause it for a minute. Okay, here's one from Mark Victor Hansen. So take a quick look at it. I'll pause here for a moment. Here's one from Dan Kennedy, and I bring Dan Kennedy's up is because in his third paragraph he says, I make so much money that they have a person in Washington designated to try and figure out how to get more taxes out of them. Danny was just being facetious. There is nobody that's doing that. So keep that in mind when you read Danny's testimonial. But anyway, your investment in the program is only $497. You'll get full access to the 42 training modules, PDF format, and convert it into MP3 video, audio rather. You got 40 hours of coaching calls that I've done. Get started on growing your revenue by clicking on the button below. Start learning today and get more customers than you can possibly handle. Now, this is a special webinar bonus. If you're one of the first 50 to purchase and invest in yourself, and you're going to get these two great bonuses that have a total value, by the way, of $5,350, and it's yours free when you invest in yourself. You're going to have a personal coaching call with me for 1 hour where I'll personally share with you ideas that I know are going to create more customers for you, and you're really going to be, by the time this hour is over, you're going to be so excited that you're not going to be able to wait to implement some of the strategies I'm going to give you. But you're also going to have a bonus too, which is a webinar, how to successfully outsource and manage your first virtual assistant. That value is $350. So the total value of the bonuses are $5,350. And the bonus is a John Davern bonus webinar where he goes over the best methods to successfully delegate tasks to a virtual assistant and common pitfalls of outsourcing and how to avoid them. And also the best project management and communication tools. So this is a $350 value that you're going to have. So here's the link. I'll leave it on here now. So either click on it or hold off and copy it, write it down, and go take a look at it after the webinar is over. Okay, so John, I think that we could go over the questions now that people are having, and we'll go over them in greater detail, and we'll be able to work them.
Sure. Okay. So there's a couple different ways to ask questions. There's a questions panel that you can use to ask questions, and then also another method would be if you raise your hand we can unmute you and you can ask a question audibly on the call. So, you know, just as Ken pointed out, though, there's a few links. There's the main link, buildyourdownlinefast.com, and then there's also, if you're in general business owner, buildyourbusinessfast.com, and then if you're in insurance, there's buildyourpracticefast.com. So those are the available links. We have one question come in, you know, so far from, I believe it was from, let me just pull this up here real quick. A question on what is the limit per day for LinkedIn on the messaging. So Ken, I think that's probably somewhere. I don't believe it's a published amount, but we found, I think if you exceed, what is it, like maybe 35, 40 messages a day, that's when...
Yeah, 40 to 45 messages are about the amount that you want to send out without it raising a red flag on LinkedIn where they might feel that you're abusing the privilege. Mm-hmm. So Seema, that was a great question.
And let's see, Felicia has a question here.
I think Nelson asked one before that.
Okay. Yeah, and then Felicia asked a question, will there be a replay of the webinar? So Felicia, yes, we're going to have a replay of the webinar, and that'll be available I'd say by the end of this week. We'll have a recording available, and you'll get a link to that recording, so you can go through it and access it. So let's see here. One quick point I was going to make too is you know, I can't emphasize this more, Ken. The having you as a resource to you brought up the one of the bonuses in purchasing the program is a 1-hour coaching call with you. I can't you know, for the price of the program is you know, well more than worth that. You're just looking at my LinkedIn connection message made the difference between me, I can't say, you know, wasting my time, but you know, sometimes we do an activity over and over and over again and it doesn't work, and just to have another person like yourself take a look at it and dissect it and make changes to it can make the difference between success and failure. And that was one of the things that made a huge impact on my business, is just to have you critique that. So imagine, you know, what you can get in a 1-hour call with you was well worth it. I mean, this technique, I've been doing it for the past 3 or 4 years, and it consistently delivers. So that I want to just emphasize that to everybody on the call. This particular technique, you know, as you're sending your message and you're communicating with people, if you're finding that something is not working, you know, you can tweak it and modify it, because I've done the same technique both with minor results and then also with major results, just by making certain changes to it. And definitely in having the LinkedIn groups, it's not a requirement, but if you establish LinkedIn groups and get people to join your LinkedIn groups, they see you as a leader in the field. You're able to post your communications in those groups, get people involved, and become a resource to people, and eventually they become interested in your products or service, or refer business to you. The other component that I think is really important to mention is in the messaging, you'll notice that Ken has an opt-in, and I use this also in my messaging, an opt-in either to a newsletter or to potentially some sort of ebook or resource. And by doing that, by getting them to opt in, they become part of your newsletter, and you can send communications out to them, value-added communications that they can benefit from. And as people see that, the messaging from you and the value content, then eventually they may become interested in your products or services. You know, I've heard a statistic, people need to see a message, you know, 5, 6, 7 times before they purchase or get involved. And what you're doing is you're establishing, building your network, and getting them to opt in to learn more about your content and the products and services that you provide. So let's see if we have any more questions. see here. Okay, I think we've covered everything. So, Ken, I don't see any more questions here. So,
all right. You know, one of the things, John, I just want to mention, you know, I've seen over the years in network marketing how individuals bring somebody in and ask them to make a list of 100 people that they know. And then when those 100 people are communicated with and gone, there's no follow-up. The individual that they brought in is virtually out of the industry and has put a bad name on the industry itself. So I want to stress to all of you, please share these, give the link to the webinar to people in your downline. Share with them all of this. Get them to sign up. Go to buildyourdownlinefast.com and sign up for the blog so that they'll get the ideas every I normally try to get 2 blogs out a month, and I don't want to be overpowering with messages, so I just do it in my leisure. So, you know, the whole thing is share this with everybody. You know, I do this here. I didn't want to spend the time that I did doing the training program. It's just that it'd be a shame to take all this vast knowledge that I have to the grave with me. And at 75, I totally get excited, and it keeps me alive, and it's going to add another 20 years, 30 years onto my life. And I hope to be doing webinars 30 years from now and sharing more ideas with all of you. So I want to thank all of you for being on the webinar. And John, thank you for your offers and what have you. And I hope individuals will take advantage of this. Thanks, everybody.